Before we jump into today's episode, I just want to let you know that if you head over to our Instagram and click on the name of this week's guest, you will find some of the photos we talk about in this episode. If you really enjoyed the podcast, feel free to support me on Patreon. You will find all links to the guest, Patreon and Fotofolket in the episode description. Let's get started.
Have a good photograph. The details are very important.
You are responsible for what's in the frame, what's in the edges, and when the shutter is snapped.
It's the only tool that will stop time itself.
Hi, and welcome to this special episode of Fotofolket with me, Rickard Lamberg. Today, I'm sitting here with the award-winning documentary and war photographer Eddy van Wessel. Welcome, and thank you for inviting me to your home.
Very much welcome, Rickard. Glad to be part of your podcast.
Thank you. How is everything today?
Yeah, it's a sunny day in Sweden, which is the best, of course.
Yeah.
Then all the good things come together.
It's lovely. I would like to talk about your upcoming book, Ukraine. But before we do that, I would like to ask you how you became a photographer.
As I can remember, there's a picture when I was like 4 years old. I was carrying my father's old Voigtlander on my little stomach. So somehow I was always intrigued by this mystery box, what's called the camera. And when I grew up, I did a lot of sports, and in some natural way, I took pictures of it. And then I started selling them to a local newspaper. And as opportunistic as I am, I thought, this is nice. And I kept doing it, which is, of course, a long way from war.
Yeah.
Because sports is something completely different. But still, there are very many circumstances where it's actually much like it.
Oh. And how did you go from sports into conflict and war photography?
By accident, to be honest. A friend of mine went to Bosnia during the Balkan War. He wanted to help a family, friends of him. And I said, okay, I come with you. So he had his old Land Rover. We went in and we took this family back to Holland, where I was living at that time, towards safety. But somehow this Bosnian war, it stuck under my skin. And I went back and back and back. And, as you maybe know, I'm the kind of guy that goes back 20 times to the same place to see the small differences. And I became part of this war, and war became part of me.
Okay. Did you have a plan back then, or did you just go back without knowing if anyone would buy your pictures, or?
No plan.
You just went back?
Yeah. And Rickard, it still is, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because currently there are very few photo desks that will give you an assignment. Because of the risk. Because if they give you an assignment, they are responsible. So what they say, Eddy, you are a nice guy. We like your pictures. We promise to buy them when you come back. But they will not give you an assignment.
Okay.
This is the new...
So the risk is all on you?
Of course.
Yeah. And how do you know what story they want if they don't send you out?
That's the good thing. It is my story then, or it's the story of what's going on. So if they don't give me an assignment, they cannot dictate me what to do.
True.
So that means I'm as free as a bird to do whatever happens in Ukraine in this case. I record it, I make an edit, of course, in cooperation with the photo desk, and then they publish.
Okay. Do you remember the first time you went to a conflict zone?
Well, the thing I remember mainly was not so much the shooting, because I remember I was very afraid of the shooting. But I remember that I came up from the village towards the front line. There were like 4 or 5 guys, big, strong guys with Kalashnikovs and guns. Yeah. This was in the Balkan War.
Yeah.
These were Bosniak fighters. And the Serbian front line was quite close. It was like a sniper war at that time.
Yeah.
And they showed me the trenches, and I was, of course, very impressed. I've never seen something like this. But somehow it felt real. Yeah. And then when I came back, one of the soldiers was hit by a sniper. He was killed.
Oh.
So he was laying there in a pool of blood, and these guys were crying like children.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I understood that it's about life and death. This is not a game. This is not about adrenaline. This is about a split second that can change your life or your family life forever. And so, if you want to make a picture, you want it to be meaningful.
Yeah.
And it can be beautiful. And this is also very meaningful. But there's a lot of photographers who make the best beautiful pictures.
Yeah.
But nobody or not everybody can handle himself in a war zone.
No.
And apparently I could. So for me, it was a good opportunity to come back and dig this out.
Yeah. Did you regret your choice when you saw that man?
No, I didn't. I was like intrigued by the speed of life, how fast life can go out of a person. I remember I was afraid to take the picture of the body. I didn't take the picture, but I took the picture of the crying man. Yeah. I was of course in the beginning. I was a bit afraid also.
So from that war, how did you move on to the next and end up in Ukraine?
After Bosnia, after the Balkan War, I went to Chechnya.
Yeah.
I went in and out for 10 years.
Oh.
Mainly illegal. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, I could go through Moscow, but they soon found out I moved a lot with the Chechen fighters.
Okay, yeah.
So they didn't give me permission anymore. Yeah. So I went through Georgia, through the mountains, and then the separate fighters, they wait for me and they took me through the country. I did it for a long time and many times, and then suddenly there was Iraq. The coalition forces, they want to fight against Saddam Hussein.
Yeah,
and I went with the first American soldiers.
Okay, so you went with a company.
Yeah. Well, I went through Iran. Because it was not possible to enter Iraq in a normal way. So I went through Iran, got smuggled across the border, and then just joined an American group of fighters, and they liked me, and they say, "Oh, of course, come along."
Okay.
It was not official. I was not officially embedded. And I went with them to Baghdad, till Baghdad, and then I went my own way.
Okay. So you had to rely on these soldiers for your safety.
Yeah, more or less, yes. Because, this is the thing. You end up in a country you've never been.
Yeah.
You don't know the rules. You don't know who's where.
Yeah.
You can see smoke. You maybe talk to locals if they speak a bit English. But this is about it. So you're walking into this danger zone and you have no clue where you are and where you're going. In 2003, GPS was not a common thing. So you were just guessing for your safety and for your pictures also. So you hook up with people who feel good.
Yeah.
You think, okay, I can more or less trust these guys. So I went with them. So we went to Tikrit, which was the city where Saddam Hussein was born.
Yeah.
There was some fighting, and along the way, I really adapted myself to this group. And then at some point we entered the oil fields.
Yeah.
And they say, now you have to leave. And at that moment, I understood what this war was about.
Yeah.
It was about the oil, about the resources. And I went my own way.
Yeah. Was this before the world knew about the oil? Or?
Well, we always thought it was about mass destruction weapons, of course.
Yeah, Hans Blix. And, yeah.
Yeah, well, in a war, nothing is what it seems.
Oh, so when you came to the oil fields, you couldn't go with them?
No. They had specific orders to seal the oil fields, no foreigners, no Iraqis. Everybody went out and they put like big fences. And they said, okay.
How do you go from being with soldiers and then being all alone and finding safe, feeling safe again?
Well, for my safety, I was not so much depending on these soldiers, because actually the resistance of the Iraqi army was very little. It was mainly very intriguing how the civilians reacted to the Americans. First, they saw them as liberators.
Yeah.
In the end, they saw them as occupation. So this was a very interesting process to see. So I went back to Erbil, which was a northern town. I met Mustafa Can, the writer from Svenska Dagbladet.
Yeah.
We worked a lot together in Ukraine. And we moved a bit with each other, and then we go our separate ways. But you meet other people who are just searching for the story in these areas.
I see. Before you go to a trip to a conflict zone, how do you prepare? All from the gear to people inside, and
the gear is very important for
yeah,
me. Actually, I put my stuff, and it's like 1 or 2% of this more or that more. This camera, that lens,
Yeah.
it has to, and somehow it's like a ritual. It's not so much that I need what I'm doing, because I exactly know what I'm taking.
Yeah.
I take it every time.
Yeah.
I take the same stuff. So sometimes you switch from a bigger analog camera to a smaller one,
Yeah.
but mainly you have a core set that you always take. But putting these things in place prepares my mind for what is going on, what is coming actually. And of course you have some contacts in the field,
Yeah.
but not too many, to be
Okay.
honest, because you and me can think of a great story in Ukraine at the moment. When you arrive, this story is either not possible, or the town has been taken by the Russians, or it's a front line now, or people who you're supposed to meet fled the area and live on the other side of the country, or maybe even fled Ukraine at all.
Yeah.
So you can't plan anything.
Okay.
You plan an area.
Yeah.
You think, okay, I would like to see what is going on the front line around Bakhmut, for example, at that time, and you go there, and whatever happens, come to you.
But how do you get around?
Well, I take my own car.
Yeah.
I started with an old Skoda. I upgraded to an old Subaru. I sleep a lot in my car.
Yeah.
Because if soldiers in the evening start drinking, it can be very dangerous to run into a checkpoint. So you just put your car in the forest and you sleep. In the beginning, hotels were an option, not anymore because of the drones. They get bombed very frequently. So you can't stay in hotels anymore. This is a really big risk. So that means you either meet locals who take you in, or you find there's an Airbnb system in Ukraine. And then you can, rent a small apartment, which puts you in the same risk as every Ukrainian person. There can be a bomb on your roof every day, every moment of the day. And then you just start moving around. If you see something interesting, you talk to the soldier.
Yeah.
And a lot of them speak English, German, or French.
Yeah.
It's really a well-educated country. So somehow you end up with the officer, the commander, and he says, "Okay, we're going to the front line tomorrow. If you have your documents, you need to be accredited." Yeah, usually it's not a problem, and things move with the speed of trust in Ukraine. If they look at you, they decide if they trust you or not.
Okay,
it's in a split second.
Yeah. Is this the same for all the wars you've been in, or is this specific to Ukraine?
Ukraine is a bit different.
Yeah?
The Middle East wars are more chaotic.
Okay.
People are not that well educated. That is a difference. So if they see you, they say, "Okay, you're a foreigner. Okay, we believe your story. You can come." Ukraine is different because there's an information war also. It really helps if you shoot analog. It sounds very strange, but the fact that I can't publish my pictures, if I can't send them to anyone, it's a part of the security.
Okay.
So I can't send it to social media. I can send it to the enemy in worst case. So if I show my old Leica, my M4 or my M2, I told you I like to work with the M2.
Yes.
They see this old crap. It's full of bumps, and they say, "Okay, well, this guy is crazy but harmless."
So it's like a key.
It's a key, actually, And here in the closet, I have this folding camera, the 6x6 camera. It's like it's like a wallet.
Yeah.
And if you open it, it has the bellow.
Yeah.
It's magic. Even though the pictures are not as sharp as the current digital cameras. Come on,
Yeah.
But it's magic because you come with the camera of his grandfather.
Yeah. It's a conversation starter.
It's a conversation starter, and you shoot film, and you have 12 frames on a roll, and then you're licking and putting this stuff together, and then you, of course, drop the new film on the ground, and everything is hilarious. It makes things more human, more natural.
I see. Yeah.
And then if you spend time, they have some borscht, which is the local soup. You eat it, and these guys don't want to be there. They want to be in Kiev or in any other town, living in peace, do their job.
Families.
Yeah, they don't want to be in the trenches, on the front line. And as soon as you understand that, and you can explain that it's about them.
Yeah.
It's not about you being there.
No.
It's about them being there.
Yeah.
And I'm there to see it. If they understand that, you're welcome. But it means you take the same risk as they do.
Yeah.
You can get killed.
Do you think that's an important part, that you are in the same risk that they are?
In a way, yes, because my pictures are very much about feeling.
Yeah.
If I can't feel what they feel, I can't capture it. So it is in a way, it's the essence. You need to go to this borderline of life and death, where they are like, they are balancing this, and you have to be part of that. And of course, I have the opportunity to leave.
Yeah.
These guys are there sometimes for 8 weeks or longer. And then your chances get, of course, very, very small.
Do you feel like you have, how do you say, do you feel like I have the responsibility to tell the world?
Yeah. Oh, yes, very much.
How they live, and
I feel very responsible for publishing the pictures. If this is also my way to deal with the effect of the war. If I publish it, I see myself as a messenger. Yeah. If I don't publish it, I see myself as a voyeur. I just actually...
that's what I meant.
I take the pictures and I don't do the right course. I don't do the right thing.
So showing the photos are like the most important part?
The only important part, to be honest.
Okay.
That's why I'm doing I have a very big exhibition at the moment in Holland.
Yeah.
It is going to be... It should end now, actually. They extended it to beginning of 26, and I just heard they will extend it to the summer of 26. So it is, and it's a huge exhibition.
Yeah.
It's a plain hangar, so with big prints.
Yeah.
And also in connection with the book. But I'm also going to do, later this summer, I'm going to do an exhibition in Kiev.
During the war?
During the war, yeah. I will go up there, bring a lot of books, and put up the exhibition. And tell to Ukrainians how I think I see their war. Yeah. And
are you nervous about that?
Yes, very much actually. Yeah, because I think what I've seen. Yeah. But I'm very curious about how they see what I think I saw. So it's very much a mirror of what I'm doing there, and it's like it's a confrontation somehow.
I understand. We're going to talk about your book a bit more later. I just want to go back to Bosnia, your first time. Do you have like one or two photos that for you summarizes the whole experience?
Actually, there is. I'll have to dig into my archive, but I'll promise to send it. I remember I went just after the Bosnian War. I went back to the southern part of Republic Srpska. Yeah. And I want to enter this area, but it was closed. It was very, very difficult to enter this. But the Serbs had to leave that area, and this is what I want to. My story was about. So I was booming around with the car and tried to enter all the entries, and they didn't allow me in. And then at some point, I came to a graveyard. Where people were digging up their graves, the dead people who were buried there. And I was so stressed about not getting into Republic Srpska that I completely forgot that this was actually the most important picture. Yeah. And I took the pictures. Yeah. But only afterwards I realized that sometimes you get like blind because you have a focus.
Yeah, you had your focus on the other story.
I had my focus on the other story, but actually this picture told all the story. That people leave and they can take their houses, but they take their dead people with them. They take their memories and they have to start building up a new life in another place. And this is for me, I think, one of the more important pictures, although it's not about life and death. It's not, there's no fighting involved. It's actually very tragic. And of course, you know, all the refugees that you see in a war, people that carry each other out of the danger zones. These are impressive pictures. But actually, the picture of the graveyard is, for me,
it summarizes it.
Yeah, and it for me, it was a most important lesson of that whole period. So always keep your mind open for the unexpected.
Did it get published?
No. Nobody want to publish anything about the Bosnia anymore because people got fed up.
Yeah.
They need to see a new news every day.
Yeah.
And then, things don't get published.
Do you feel stressed about that people are get fed up? Like, Ukraine is kind of forgotten because of Gaza right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing is that, it's not funny, it's actually very tragic.
Yeah.
That they say, 150 people died in Gaza. How many died in Ukraine?
Yeah,
and it is so, it's lack of humanity.
Yeah.
It's about the number. It's not about each person on itself. And the other tragic thing is that actually much more people die in Ukraine.
Yeah.
But Ukraine doesn't publish the losses in the field. At least 200 soldiers a day die on the front lines. At least. Yeah. Nobody talks about it. It's an unknown number.
Yeah.
And this is something.
Is it harder to sell a story now because of Gaza?
No, I don't think so, because there are no Western journalists being accepted in Gaza. Israel is, just locking the whole area down. They are doing really disgraceful things there. Yeah. But we cannot see it. So we have, of course, very good and very brave Palestinian colleagues. But first they get killed. Yeah. And second, they say their work is propaganda. Well, if I see a child burned alive, I don't see any propaganda.
No.
I see a very, very, very harsh truth that we have to deal with. At some point, people will look away from Ukraine, but not so much as Bosnia, because I think the result of the war in Ukraine will reflect to all of us.
Yeah.
If your Russia isn't defeated somehow, or if there isn't been a harsh deal in Ukraine, you see that Russia is building up troops at the Finnish border.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's afraid of what comes next.
Yeah.
So somehow the connection with Russia, Ukraine, the Finnish border, Sweden is always somehow at war with Russia. There's always these things going on. So and Ukraine is part of it. So I don't think it will vanish.
It feels like it will have a very long due consequences, this war.
Yeah, even if the war stops today.
Yeah.
I did stories about psychological facilities where soldiers, if they don't get medication, they will kill themselves. And this is the tip of the iceberg that I've seen. There's so many soldiers going to front lines. There's so many families who lost a big part of their members. This war will go on forever.
Yeah.
For at least 2 generations.
Yeah.
So if you stop the war now, a new war will start.
Yeah.
But one which is completely invisible, because they think, okay, there's no front line anymore, there's no war. It's not. You have to rebuild the country from scratch, and all people are traumatized.
Yeah.
And this will not be over in...
It will be a psychological war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Your family, what do they think about your choose of work?
I met my wife when I was in between Bosnia trips, and somehow it has always been part of our life.
Yeah,
they don't like what I'm doing, but they know why I'm doing it, And of course, you don't want to send your loved ones to the danger zone. But there are a lot of soldiers also who, go on missions, go out, and they all have families. Some of them, at least, many of them. And so it can be done, but it's not easy, and it will give some spicy discussions. I can tell you.
For how long are you away when you're on a trip?
Depends, like between 3-4 weeks till 8-9 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long are you at home before you go back?
Sometimes 1 week, sometimes 6 weeks. Depends a bit on how much like now. I have been working on the book, so I needed to be here. But I will go back soon.
Do you go back with like a purpose that you think I need this photo to make the story work, or do you go back and just catch what you get and then go back and make the story?
Yeah, because it's not my story. So it's their story. So if I think about how I'm going to do it, it's not their story anymore.
No, it becomes
it's
yours.
Actually, it's mine. So I really try to absorb. And what I'm usually tell myself, I'm going to update, which is I see how the situation is changing. Like Konstantinivka, which is a town I was in February, which was quite okay. And now it's like almost the front line.
Okay.
And if I go back, I will try to go back again, if it's not too dangerous, of course, and try to capture this new reality and see how people are leaving their so-called safe places.
Yeah.
And we have to go. And so you can't, you can't even decide what you want to take pictures of.
No, you just take what you get. You document what you see.
You document what you see, and you take a full advantage of the circumstances.
Yeah.
And even if you think you're smart, you will see that this smart picture will not work. But you run into something completely different, which you couldn't think of, and it's an amazing picture.
So when you get back home, it's like it's like a mystery story almost. So try to find their story, not yours.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. So you first you go you find the pictures with the most power, like a picture like this, it's a funeral. It's very emotional. These are pictures that bring the war very close.
Yeah.
And then you start looking for things that fill it up. And you end up in a hospital, and you see a man who's like buried a big part of his body.
Yeah.
Just because he was asleep and a bomb landed on his house. And then you meet Alexander, who explains in a room that a rocket came through the roof, killed his wife, and he can't leave the house because he thinks if he leaves, he will, cheat on her somehow. He feels responsible for being there. So these are things I could never have think of before. So you end up, and then you walk into a street and you see something like this. You end up in like a block of houses where a kid on a step is moving around.
Yeah,
and it is a very intriguing picture, but I could never have made it up before I saw it.
Yeah. When you take pictures in extreme situations, what's going through your mind, and do you have the time to compose your photos, or is it just impulse?
That's a good one. I think I compose my picture, but since I work mainly with one lens, it's wide angle. I know exactly what's in the frame. So as soon as I see something, I pick up my camera. I know where the borders of the frame are, and I just push the button. And for me, the best moment is if I feel something, and when I have a very strong feeling, and I try to capture that feeling somehow. It sounds very vague, very difficult to explain. Yeah. But in a way, it is like doing it, and in the end, you do things without thinking about it.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm doing. If you look very good, some of my pictures are not sharp.
Yeah.
Because I don't have time. Sometimes I'm just manual focus like I am. It's not not always that accurate, not always that fast. If you want to be fast, sometimes things are not completely in focus,
Yeah.
or even a bit blurred. There's no image stabilization in these cameras, so
A bit motion blur.
But if you would be in that situation with your eye, you wouldn't see everything as clear as you want it to be, because it's the reality. The reality is very overwhelming, and therefore I think you can just make unsharp pictures.
But this kind of photos, I think it brings something to, when it's a bit blurry and not that sharp. And,
if you look, for example, at this image, this is made in Fallujah in Iraq, fighting against ISIS. And I was with these fighters, and he was shooting a RPG, a rocket propelled grenade. I can tell you, this gives such a blast that it's impossible to make a sharp picture.
It's not a static moment.
Maybe if you have a Sony or something, but not with the cameras we work with. You have the same stuff as me, as I saw. Yeah. So we try to make fun of it, but it's really alive. Yeah. And I think this is what a photographer you should bring back, real life. Not this superimposition of AI results.
This is not a static moment. It's it's very
And if you look at the picture and you see it bigger, you almost hear the sound.
Yeah,
it's very noisy, I can tell you. So in this way, some of my images are not technically perfect.
If we go back to the book a bit, how would you describe the book that you have put together?
I think it's a kind of statement. Like, just go through the book, read the story of Mustafa Can. He wrote a beautiful essay in the middle. It is a warning. It's a testimony. It is it brings very close what war does with people, as much as for the fighters, but also for the families who try to live in between. But you also see the happy moments. You also see people just live. Yeah. They celebrate life. Yeah. Maybe because the end is maybe nearby. I think I put like a bit more of 3 years of photography in this book, and a lot of trips and many weeks and many roles. Yeah. So I think it is the best of what I could do in Ukraine.
How did you decide to make the book now? Because the war hasn't ended yet.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, but like I say, the war never ends. Yeah. Even if there's peace, it will continue, just in a new form. Yeah. So for me, every moment is the right moment to publish a book. I was very worried, when Trump came to power. He says, one day I will fix this war. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm happy for Ukraine. Yeah. But what does it do to my book? Yeah. And in the end, it doesn't matter. Because all the suffering that people has gone through, it's in the book. Yeah,
it's still real.
It's still real. Yeah. It's very, in the captions, there are like little stories. You can really understand more about the picture if you read it. So it doesn't matter if the war is finished or not. All this tragedy, all this loss of life, it has happened. And I was there to testify. So, yeah, I think it has become much more beautiful than I expected.
I'm really looking forward to see it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In what way do you think that Ukraine has changed since the war began?
Well, it went from naive, patriotic, till revenge, and really, people are really done with the war.
Yeah, they're fed up.
They're completely fed up. Yeah. There's some groups of fighters that I joined. They were 13 people, and only 3 of them are still around.
Oh, yeah.
So that says something. Yeah. If you go to the front line now, you see older men over 40, which is, well, that means actually that the younger people have died.
Yeah.
So the loss of a whole generation really does something with the country. The strange thing is if you go in Kiev, if you use your uniform as a soldier in the street, people will say to you, we don't want this.
Oh.
Because people don't want to be reminded that the war on the east is taking countless lives every day.
That sounds very strange.
It sounds very strange. And this is also a very contradiction to the fighters who give their life and the people who just want to forget about war. They want it to end, but they don't want to deal with it on a daily basis, because during the nights they have the rockets landing on their homes. Yes. So people said, I'm just fed up. I can't I don't want to see anything involved with the war, connected to the war. And this is this is the psychological effect that goes to the mind of everybody.
It must be extremely hard on the soldiers as well, if they are fighting all day and when they get back home, they're not wanted.
Exactly. Yeah. It's actually it's like, the Americans who went to Vietnam and thought they do the right thing. Well, of course, history proved it was completely different. Yeah. But they came back to the States and they were like, they were like neglected.
Yeah, they thought they were heroes, but
actually they weren't in the eyes of the population. And somehow it's not that strong, but in Ukraine you always have this effect also. And there's of course the group of people who support the army and but don't want to be a fighter themselves. So they build drones and so the whole society is about war, and not everybody can deal with it.
How do you move around safely in Ukraine? Do you depend a lot on the locals, or do you have fixers? Or
sometimes I don't have fixers because usually they are friends and they help me, and I pay them a bit for their services. But it's not. I don't use professional fixers.
Okay,
because they will always bring you to the same spot. The same spot they were last week with the television channel.
Oh, it's like a safari in Africa.
Exactly. And somehow these people are very important. If you need to be on a specific place, on a specific event, and the access is difficult, these people are gold. Yeah. But if you just want to roam around and be surprised, I take pictures of my curiosity. You don't need a fixed agenda. You don't need a guy who you need to tell tomorrow I want to do this, this, and this. No, I say, okay, I want to go to Sumi area and I want to see what happens.
Okay.
I work with students, and some of them became photographers.
Yeah.
And so then you have like a common thing. They want to develop themselves as a photographer.
Yeah.
But they usually don't have a car because they don't have the budget, or they don't even have a license.
So you can use their language.
And they need my transportation.
Yeah. Smart.
And we have some local food, and we crash somewhere in a house or in the car. And next day you move on.
Yeah.
And this is very also because young people, they are very close to the society. They're very open-minded. So it's like in a strange way, it is like an adventure.
When you meet people like locals, when you take photos of them, how do they react?
Sometimes people don't like it, and I respect that.
Yeah,
I usually take the picture because this is what I do. I take a picture and then they respond. Yeah. So if they don't like it, I don't use it. But again, if people realize that you are interested in their situation, they want to show you everything.
Okay.
And it usually takes time.
Yeah.
Just spend don't walk in, take a picture, walk out. No. How are you? What's going on? What has happened last week? Why are you living here where's your husband or where's your wife? And then usually the stories come. And people understand. And Ukrainians in between, they hardly talk about the situation because everybody is in the bad situation. So if somebody from abroad comes, it is more easy to share these emotions.
Okay.
Because they can finally talk to somebody about it.
Yeah, because not everyone is in the same boat.
No, exactly. Yeah, and this works.
In your book, Ukraine, did you leave out any photos because they were too intense?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah. I made the first edit, and I sent it to the publisher, and he said, "Oh, whoa, Eddy, I am not sure if we can do this."
Oh.
And I counted, it was like 25 pictures with dead bodies, and quite gruesome pictures.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking, how to. But then we changed the whole flow of the book, and somehow they got a different purpose. Quite some of them are still in it, but in a different way. That it's not that confronting.
Yeah.
But we took quite some of them out, and maybe at one day I will make an exhibition which is forbidden to enter. You know, that it's just if you enter, you know what you get.
Yeah. Just strong pictures.
Just these kind of pictures. Yeah. The total edge of dehumanization.
Were there any moments where you didn't pull the trigger on the camera because it was too harsh?
No, actually, I think you have the obligation to make the picture.
Okay, so even if it's really, really inhumane, you still try to take the photo.
I think you're obligated to do it, to do so, because I am not the judge of what's going on there. I think the future is the judge.
Yeah.
So if I can provide the picture, how can we judge it?
Yeah.
I think it's essential that I make this picture. Maybe not to be published, like I said. We took quite some of the images out of the book. But maybe for a tribunal, after the war, if things change. Maybe just to show the cruelty of war at some point. And if I'm like a filter, then there will be like a curator or an editor. It will be a filter on the next filter, on the next filter.
Yeah. Once again, it's not your story. It's what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I really need to force myself. For example, the picture of the woman who finds a dead husband in the.
Yeah.
This is a very strong moment. Their house is on fire. Her husband died, and I'm in the garden when she sees his dead body for the first time.
Okay.
So she was not at home. So I came there with the fire brigade.
Yeah.
I'm in the garden. I'm walking around this garden to see how can I make a picture of a dead person.
Oh, so you noticed the man, but she wasn't there.
She wasn't there.
Okay.
She was out.
Yeah.
She was out. And then I heard some screaming, and she came running into the garden, and she finds her husband dead. And I'm there with my camera. This is one of the moments that you should put your camera away, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Because this is a very important moment. It shows exactly how your whole life can vanish in one split second.
Yeah.
If this happened to the one you love, your whole life will be different from that moment on, including the house that is burning to the ground at the moment. So these images, even if I speak about it, I think, why did you make this picture? Why didn't you pay respect to the woman?
Yeah.
But I think my obligation to the future is exactly this: is showing what a war does to people.
In one way, that is also respectful, but in a distance. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. No. It is, and I've been waiting quite a while with publishing this picture because I got in contact with the fire brigade.
Yeah.
They got in contact with the family, and it took quite a while before this image. She wasn't happy with the picture. Let's put it very nicely. Yeah. But she understood it's important that people see it. So and then I only then I publish it. But for me, this is one of the symbols of the war. This is somebody you love. You go away for 1 hour. You come back and you find it dead. And this is this can happen to anyone.
It's a very strong picture.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. Yeah.
Have you ever been in a situation where you stopped being a photographer and just helped?
Yes, many times.
Yeah.
Yes, many times. But usually not on the edge of life and death. But if you can help somebody, you should. Of course, we're all humans, and you would appreciate help if you need it. So of course you do it. But it's not that I had to make a choice between somebody else's life or a picture. I'm very happy. It would be the help, of course. For me, it would not be the picture.
Have you ever been criticized for taking the photos that you take?
No, actually not. No. People question why you do it like this, and I explain, and they see the logic. And you have to realize that in war, everything is different. it's very easy to judge from this position. Here, sitting behind a computer, looking at pictures. But if you are there, it is a kind of madness, and you're part of this madness.
Yeah.
And people are sometimes become crazy because of the bombardments. You enter a town, people start shouting at you, and then you turn around and you go away because you don't want to make any trouble or have any trouble. But you realize why people are crazy.
Yeah.
If 20 bombs will fall on your area every day, you will be crazy too.
Yeah. When you get back home with all the photos, how do you feel when you look at them? Do you relive the moments or?
No, for me it's more a judgment if the picture has the same feeling as I had at that moment.
Yeah.
If I look at the picture and I recognize the feeling, I feel the same.
Yeah.
Then the picture for me is successful. It's a good one.
So it's a keeper then.
Yeah, then it's a keeper. Yeah. And sometimes you make pictures which are beautiful but don't say anything, and they go in the spare. That's like spare pictures. So somehow you make like a shift, and it's quite fast. Actually, it's like we're this, and you put them in a folder, and then you have like A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
And then you get like an AA, and then an AAA, and then finally you get like a story, which is you say, okay, this shows everything I've been going through. But with negatives, sometimes after years.
Yeah, I recognize that.
It's not the moment itself. Because when you come back, you're always like a bit disappointed. You think, okay, there was so much more.
Yeah.
Why I only took this part of the frame? And they become valuable after time.
Yeah.
And I see the same with my Ukraine pictures. Sometimes I'm disappointed. I say, okay, I've been away for 8 weeks. I did nothing. I have only crappy pictures. And if I tell my wife this, she starts laughing. She says, okay, this is what you always say.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of process you apparently go through. So you have to let go of reality, and then the picture becomes its own creative thing. And if you deal with that period, you have good stuff.
Okay. Is there a photo in your new book, Ukraine, that you think summarizes that book or the experience from Ukraine?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, there may be even more.
Yeah.
Let's try to find one. I'll go. Yeah. If you take this picture, this is Vova. Actually, I read on the Russian news that they bombed a school in Kramatorsk.
Okay.
That was used by the Ukraine army as a base.
Yeah.
So I went to that school. I didn't see any evidence of military, because you would always see, green cans, shoes. Soldiers leave a lot of
food packs.
Yeah. They always leave something behind that you can reckon. There was nothing that touches even the color green. And then I meet Vova, and I start talking to him, and I say, "Well, what are you doing here?" He says, "Well, I'm looking for my memories. This is my school, and I'm just looking for something that reminds me of what it once was." And it sums up for me a very big thing that, he lost his past because his school is gone. Yeah. His parents are fleeing the area. But he doesn't have any future either, because he's like, all his friends are gone. He's alone in this area. But also it sums up the disinformation that, the Russians say, okay, it's an army base. This whole propaganda thing in this war. So for me, this is actually where these two things touch each other. It's the disinformation, the propaganda, and a young boy who lost everything. Yeah. And looks at me with the eyes of a 40-year-old person. Yeah.
Also that he understands that the past will no longer be with him.
Yeah.
To be that young and have that insight, it's very strong.
Yeah. So this is actually, in a way, a beautiful picture. It's not a war picture. Of course, you see the destruction, but you don't see anybody wounded. But for me, this is an important picture.
Yeah.
Especially about what Vova told about it.
Many young photographers want to go to conflict zones and wars. What would you like to say to them? Should I pursue this or not?
Yeah, do it. But don't expect to make a living. No, this is the thing. Somehow photography has become a hobby.
Yeah.
Because if you can't live from it,
Yeah.
it's not a profession. It's a hobby.
Yeah.
If you want to do war photography as a hobby, go ahead, because we can use anyone. Everybody who is capable of making a good story, bring one person to another in picture-wise. For me, it's super welcome.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious how many of these youngsters will make a living. Because if you have a job, you can tell your boss, okay, I'll be gone for 2 months because I'm going to war.
Yeah.
And he say, okay, should I find a replacement for you because you might not come back? No, of course, I'm coming back. Yeah. This is what you will say when you're young.
Yeah.
But so the reality is quite difficult. But if you have the ambition, I would definitely do so. And I often get the request of if I can take anyone with me, or can you help me? For me, I personally think that if you can't end up yourself in the middle of a war,
then you shouldn't go.
You shouldn't go.
I see.
Because I can bring you there, but that doesn't mean anything.
It sounds very logic when you say it.
Yeah. So if I meet you there, you're welcome. But I'm not gonna pamper you. Not gonna put you there, because maybe something happens with you, and I will feel guilty because you didn't endure the problems. So maybe you would have stopped halfway, and then it's my fault that you're there.
Yeah.
So I don't want that responsibility. But we do need a new generation of war photographers, definitely. But now, with the drones, maybe this whole profession will look different.
Yeah.
Maybe you will be a drone operator.
Yeah.
Maybe you're much more safe, or I don't know. But I'm very eager to see what new younger people do with these kind of stories.
Yeah. Let's move on to the questions from the listeners. And the first one is from himself, so listen up.
Hi, Eddie. My name is Milad. I'm a German-Iranian photojournalist based in Hamburg. Over the past years, I've covered conflict and humanitarian crisis across various countries, often working in black and white. But with time, editors and agencies have been pushing me more towards shooting in color. And honestly, it feels like a part of my photographic identity has been lost in the process. I'm wondering, have you ever faced similar pressure to abandon black and white? And how should I stay true to a personal visual language while navigating the demands of today's editorial world?
Okay, Mila. I think if you shoot black and white, you will have like 10% of the customers that you would have if you shoot color. It's a decision I made a long time ago, and somehow it became like a brand. It just reminded me that last week Salgado passed away, and the only images I saw from him were black and white. So somehow it was totally accepted by the audience that his work is black and white. They see it as his signature, and I think there's the key. If you can make your signature recognizable, and you'll be stubborn enough, you will in the end publish your pictures in black and white. I remember a few years ago I did a story on the ISIS fights in Baghuz, Syria. I worked for a big German magazine, and I sent them my portfolio. And they loved it. And they said, okay, Eddie, great. You will have the assignment. You'll go into Baghuz for a month to cover the war. I sent them, like halfway, I sent them the images. And they said, Eddie, wow, they look great. But do you also have some color? And I say, didn't you notice that my whole portfolio was in black and white? And that I hardly ever shoot a color picture unless it's a holiday or a celebration at home. And they looked into my work and they said, no, you are right. So I sent them the selection, and in the end, they published 2 pages more because they so much like the images. And it didn't matter if it was black and white or color. So I think for me, I would be as stubborn as possible if it is really what you feel. If you think you cannot do the financial concession, be anything you want. But I can only speak for myself. Stay true. Stay to what you believe. That's as a photographer, that's the main value.
Yeah. I hope you're happy with that, Milad. And now the most asked question: why black and white?
Aha. Okay. Well, that's actually it's a very simple question. When I started working in Bosnia, black and white was the only thing that you could process. So I got used to black and white. Before that, I actually shot quite some color. I traveled all China in color. You love my slides, trust me. So I got used to black and white, and I really liked it. It had this tonal. You get straight to the subject. You are not distracted by colors. The things get reduced by to shades of gray, and you'll have to really work on your composition to make a picture strong and powerful. After that, I didn't make any money for, I think, maybe 10 years as a photographer. It was really, really, I did some commercial stuff just to pay the bills. But the work that I really adored, like going to war zones, it didn't make me anything.
Was it because it was black and white?
I don't know. Maybe because nobody knew me. Maybe because I was not good enough. I don't know. But I realized, I still remember the thought I had at that time. So if I don't make any money, I'm the one who judges who my pictures look like. And you're not going to tell me if it's going to be color or black and white. So I stick to this black and white. And in the end, it became my branding somehow. And people sometimes they ask, they try. But I neglect the question.
Yeah. The next question. Do you remember the first time you realized that the photograph you took had weight? That it meant something?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the situation I described in Bosnia. That in a sudden split second, the decision is made between life and death. And being a photographer, you can really record that and show it to the rest of the world. And this is something, most important of any good photograph, actually. It makes people think.
Have you ever considered your family as a reason to stop?
Yes. Yeah. I consider this like every trip I do.
Yeah.
I really think, okay, should I put my family through this? So, and I tried to stop after I was in Grozny in '99. It was really a very terrible experience. It was really dangerous. And I thought, okay, if you want to live, don't do this anymore. And I stopped for a year. I made much more money than I usually did with other kinds of photography, but I was completely unhappy.
Yeah.
And my wife said, you're not even a glimpse of yourself. Please go do what you do best. And I did. But it is something that concerns me. Yeah. And I do sometimes. I'm sure that if I was a single person, I would take more risk.
It is. Yeah.
Yes. I sometimes take a step back. I evaluate if it's okay. If you go in there, what kind of picture are you planning to make? And how big is the danger?
Yeah.
If the danger is very big and the chance of getting a good picture is little, I'm not going. And there are colleagues who do it, who go in. And sometimes they get lucky and sometimes they die.
Yeah. Which country among those where you have covered conflicts have you appreciated the most, and why?
I think Middle East. And it's because of the chaos.
Okay.
And because of the government is not a government, but it's just an institute who tries to run the country. But the country is actually divided in how do you say, families, tribes. There's a whole tribal structure there that all local Iraqis know. But as a foreigner, you step in and you think, okay, this is an organized country. There's roads, there's asphalt, there's policemen at the corner. But the real power lies with the families.
Yeah.
And somehow this goes cross-border. You know, if you go from Iran to Iraq and from Iraq to Syria in the same family, and there's never a checkpoint. And this is the very interesting thing of the Middle East. This chaos, this sometimes anarchy, but also this very they're very proud people. The pride in the Middle East is the most important thing in life.
Yeah.
And that's a completely different value than we have in the West, where we are, much more about, we make an agreement and we stick to it. And so this, for me, it would be Middle East. Yeah.
How did you end up in Sweden?
Yeah, I told you a bit about it. As a young photographer, I get the assignment to illustrate a photo book of Scandinavia. So I got a whole list of key points where I went with my old husbil, which was every morning. You never knew if it would start or not. So I spent like 2.5 months going Sweden up north, and then part of Finland, and then back to through Norway. South to Norway, and I fell completely in love with Sweden. I loved it so much. The nature in Norway is amazing. It's astonishing. But yeah, the country and its people in Sweden, it just grabbed me. But it took a long time actually. Before we had a family, and we decided, well, Holland is maybe not the best place for us. We want to grow our kids, and we start looking around and. Well, here we are, Polandet, in the middle of nowhere, next to a lake. But with you heard the birds. When we had
beautiful here.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing place. It's
calm.
It's really magic. And I have my little dark room in the basement, and this is all I need. So for me, I'm happy. And this is Sweden. And yeah, I still have my company in Holland. So I go a bit up and down, but home is here.
Yeah. You still shoot a lot of film. Why is that?
I think it's the restriction. You have only 36, or even with the panoramic, you have 19 or 21. Yeah. And if you start shooting the 6x6, you have 12.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, if you put 128 gigabyte in your Leica and you shoot it, you have like 10 good frames. And if you take a 36 roll, you also have 10 good frames. So why would you shoot the other 127 gigabyte on your card? It's spoiled energy, and this is somehow what analog does with you. And and also, if you shoot analog in Ukraine, it is kind of trust issue. They trust you if you can develop your film.
Yeah,
and if you can send your pictures to the enemy or to social media. Yeah, and it's also the tactical feeling of transporting something real. Now with AI, you can create anything. You just give a prompt to your computer and anything crazy runs out of it. And you can keep adjusting it till you have the perfect form of fake, actually.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be part of that. I don't want to be close. So for me, to end all discussion, I pull my negative from my sleeve and say, okay, let's stop here. Look at what I really did. Yeah. And then you can.
So it's almost like a future proof.
It's very future proof.
Yeah.
Especially because the future is very liquid.
Yeah.
Everything is possible with digital. If you speak with people who inspect files for pictures for contests, they say we can't see if a raw file is altered or not.
Oh.
Because they are that far, and now Canon and Leica, they have this
the markings,
code, but it will be
watermarks almost.
It's temporary, of course, because technology is always
someone will hack that, and
yes. So for me, I stick to myself, and I shot. And if I go through my rolls of previous stories, which I did only on film, I see so many good pictures. And I say, what? But you only make 300 shots. Well, how can you make so many good pictures? And if I shoot digital, I need to have 10 times as much as images? So it's a form of discipline. I like to stay very close to that.
Thank you. The last question. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt this is it? It's over?
Yes.
Yeah. An example or...
Okay, where to start?
This question is from Payman.
Payman. Thank you. Thank you for putting me up with this. Well, actually, yes. It was in December of last year.
Yeah.
I was in Pokrovsk. I moved with the Da Vinci Wolves, which is a frontline brigade.
Yeah.
Many foreigners. So I went with them to the front line, which was trenches, a dugout, about 150 meters from the Russians. And I was planning to spend the night with these fighters, some internationals and some Ukrainian fighters. And at some point, these guys say, shall we make you some coffee? I said, yeah, sure, nice. So they put up the stove, but we didn't think of the heat-seeking drone that was in the air.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have thought, but they didn't. So they want to be, nice to me. And then they start shooting at us. So we went into the dugout, and the drone came on top of us. And they shoot 16 grenades at our position. Yeah. They probably thought we were dead. It took like 2.5 hours. And we heard from the Ukrainian drone, they were actually with a drone on top of the mortar. So they told us, okay, guys, they're going to shoot another one.
Oh, yeah.
And this dugout wasn't much, it was some trees and some sand. So if it would hit us, we would all be buried.
Yeah.
So everybody, including the hardcore guys, thought, okay, this is it. And at some point, they thought probably that we died.
Yeah.
So the drone went. They switched drones several times because the batteries went out. It really took a long time. And at some point, it became silent. And there was already a car a few kilometers away waiting for me in the trenches. So I ran up. They said, that way, keep running. And I went running, hoping that another drone wouldn't pick me. And then I made it. But that was, it was quite close.
Ending with a strong story. Yeah. If people want to buy the book, where can they buy it?
Okay. Can you put something like a link?
Yeah, I can put a link.
Okay, that would be the best.
Yeah. And if they want to see you on the internet or social media, where...
Yes, okay. eddyvanwessel.com, my website.
Yeah.
It's a bit outdated, I think, because I haven't worked on it for a while. I will bring the book to Sweden also.
Yeah.
That's my plan. Especially since Mustafa Can wrote the text and Svenska Dagbladet is one of my partners here. So we will release it here also in Sweden.
Yeah.
Then there's the film Eddy's War. It can be seen if you Google it. I think it's on Apple TV.
Yep.
You can just pay a few bucks and you can join me in a trip to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Several times actually. We went 4 times with the camera crew to Ukraine. I think that's about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good photograph. The details are very important.
You are responsible for what's in the frame, what's in the edges, and when the shutter is snapped.
It's the only tool that will stop time itself.